Omo a Guru Vajradhara Sumatimo Nishasane Karma Uta Vardanya Shri Bhat Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Ma Guru Vajradhara Sumatim Uta Vardanya Shri Bhat Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Timo Nishasane Karma Uta Vardanya Shri Bhat Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Uta Vardanya Shri Bhat Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Pakyuke Kodan Dagi Lo Pakyuke Sondan Dagi Pakyuke Todan Dagi Yi Ten Yerme Chikto Jingi Lo Makyuke Kodan Dagi Lo Makyuke Sondan Dagi Yi Ten Yerme Chikto Jingi Lo Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Om Muni 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 Shakyamuni Swaha Om Maitreya Maitreya Maha Maitreya Arya Maitreya Swaha Om Maitreya Maitreya Maha Maitreya Arya Maitreya Ha Om Maitreya Maitreya Maha Maitreya Arya Maitreya Swaha Sangye Chedan Soge Chanamla Chancho Pardo Dani Kyapso Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamgi Drola Pinchira Sangye Druparsho Sangye Chedan Soge Chonamla Chancho Pardo Dani Kyapso Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamgi Drola Pinchira Sangye Druparsho Sangye Chedan Soge Chonamla Chancho Pardo Dani Kyapso Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamgi Drola Pinchira Sangye Druparsho in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I take refuge until enlightenment through the practice of generosity and the other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. So, yesterday, at I think it was in the evening, we were talking a little bit about the part of space. No? And I'm happy that actually we were able, during these last days, to get to a good point on the practice of self-healing, so that tomorrow we have the time necessary to explain the part of completion stage we know with no hurry, and then it's also possible to explain other things in between. So what I'd like to explain to now, share with you, is one meditation that is very much, it's a way to train space, to train our relation with space somehow. Is to help visualization also. As we saw, space is relative, and we have this idea that, how to say, we see everything in reference to something else, no? So this what is big, what is small, this is all relative. We call it Töcha Töche in Tibetan. Töcha Töche means one that depends on the other, how it exists, like big and small. Big only exists in reference to small, small only exists in reference to big, and like here and there. Like if I say, for example, this chair and that chair. We put two chairs, one on one side, one on the other. When I am in this chair, what is the other chair? That chair. When I get to that chair, what that chair became? This chair, and this chair became that chair. So this and that exist only one relation. The original example is this mountain and that mountain, because it was in Tibet. But no, in Holland it doesn't fit so well. So we cannot make this mountain or that mountain because mountains are not there. But I can make maybe this boat, that boat, other ways. But anyhow, the point is that space is total relative. But even though space is relative, we have the idea in the sense that we are used to see space in quite an objective way. What is big, what is small, and so on, no? And we think that, I don't know, for whatever reason, we think that everything should fit our size, no? How the things should be. And it's not exactly like that. Everything, space is completely relative. So, in the meditation practices, we use a lot of the quality of space in order to visualize things, and it's incredible the way how we can actually enter into many details and expand and reabsorb and so on. So, in order for us to train our visualization, I see that sometimes it's difficult for us to visualize the Buddha. How come a Buddha is a whole body? How can he visualize inside of me? It's not going to fit. And we can have difficulties in this way. No? So, there is one exercise. It's not part of the practice of self-healing, but we can do it inside the practice of self-healing or separately also, which is an exercise that is specifically to help us to train our visualization. Okay? And it's called Natik. Natik means the nose line. And this is a practice that I saw described in the Tantra of Tarachitamani, but I think we can adapt it perfectly to self-healing also. And it's the following. We will visualize. First, we just do some breathing meditation. We bring ourselves to a state of more calm and so on. And then we can also do it like inside self-healing when we do the generation of the lotus. Before that, also we can do inside self-healing if we want. But it's just an exercise, okay? So we can do it at any moment outside also. But basically what we do is that we visualize in the tip of our nose a little Vajra. I think like the center of the Vajra, which is this part here, it should be the size of like maybe ½ centimeter. The whole Vajra, I think, is around 4 centimeters, something like this, 3. Okay? Visualize here in the tip of our nose. And then in the middle, there is this little ball, like here, which is more or less ½ centimeter size, very small ball. So first we visualize this dorje on the nose, okay? Small one. Then, on this little ball that is in the center of the dorje, which we call the drop of the dorje, which is the tigle in the middle, there we visualize a whole environment inside of it. So there's a whole world. So it's like if we enter into it. And then when we enter inside, imagine that it's more or less like you go and there's like a keyhole, and then you go inside, and then you go in, there is a whole universe there. And then when you go in there, then there is this beautiful environment, like with snow mountains and nice clouds and beautiful birds and a very nice forest, and you have animals going around and they are very peaceful, and the birds are singing, and the sounds of the birds, they remind us of the Dharma, and the temperature is very nice, and the floor, there is a whole part of the floor which is made of lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli is blue with gold, and the gold of the lapis lazuli make auspicious signs which are drawn with the gold of the lapis lazuli. But it's not cold. It's a nice temperature and soft when we walk. And then there are beautiful trees with very nice fruits and nice stream of water. And then there is a beautiful lake. Okay? So imagine this beautiful environment, and we go into the details. Take your time to go into the details of it. No hurry. Okay? So we go there and we can imagine them more as we like. So we go and then we can really imagine the type of trees, and we can imagine like the whole environment. Then we have rainbows. It's a very beautiful place. Then we have the sun coming very beautifully and a nice temperature. It's like a beautiful place. Then in the middle of this beautiful place, there is like a stream of a lake. In the lake, there are many like swans and beautiful animals and so on. And then in the middle of the lake, there is a big lotus flower coming up. And in this lotus flower, there is a moon cushion and sun cushion. On top of it is our Guru Buddha. His Guru Buddha is seated on this lotus flower. Okay? And as we visualize Guru Buddha sitting there, Guru Buddha, then we have no hurry, we really go into details. So we visualize Guru Buddha, how he's seated, clothes, the position of the hands, which position he's having, and then he's holding Vajra and bell, and then he has all the ornaments symbolizing the 6 perfections, and he's smiling at us. And then on his 5 chakras, we visualize in each one of them the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. So he has a perfect centralized central channel, and then on the 5 chakras inside there is Vairochana at the crown. There is a lotus with 32 petals. In the middle of it there is Vairochana, white in color. We imagine Vairochana. Then on the throat there is Amitabha on a 16-petal lotus. On the heart there is Akshobhya on an 8-petal blue lotus. On the navel there is Ratnasambhava, yellow in color, on a 64-petaled yellow lotus. And on the secret chakra there is Amoghasiddhi on a 32-petaled green lotus. So we go, and then we go into the details of each one of the Dhyani Buddhas. We look at them. The text says we can look at the details of the white and the black of the eye. Like we go into details, and we take our time like to imagine and to see everything. the details of the clothes and so on. And then in Guru Buddha, at his crown there is a Om, at the throat an A, at the heart a Hung, which is in the Hung of Akshobhya, and then in the navel there is a Tam, and in the chakra there is a Ri. And then together with that we have the Buddha that is on, more or less it's like on the navel, on the chakra of the Buddha. At the chakra we see the 6th syllable also. And then we go into the details of it, okay? So we go into that. Then once we enter into the small details of the body mandala of Guru Buddha, then we start to zoom out, and then we start again, and then we see Guru Buddha completely. If we are visualizing as our root guru like Lama Ganchen, you can see the beard, and you see Rinpoche's beautiful smile, and then the way how he's dressed, and then you go out, and then slowly, slowly you have the whole environment around. Up to you see, you go make a total zoom out. Then you up to the moment that you get, and everything is inside that little dot in the dorje in the nose. Then you go in again. And then you have the whole environment up to the point that you go inside, 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 up to you get to the central channel of Guru Buddha, and you have there the lotus flower of the Buddha and everything there. And then you zoom out again. Okay. If we train in this, after to visualize in our own chakra, it's going to be quite simple. Because we are training space. We take something that originally very small, and then we go in. So we enter, we train our own creativity in a way, but most of all we train that space is relative. So in something very small, we can imagine something infinite, very big. So it's like inside this little dot of the Vajra, in the center of the Vajra, there is space that is there is infinite. And actually it is. So if we train in this, then after we can see like, how when we see, then it's much easier to visualize Buddha in our heart chakra or in our throat chakra. It becomes much more simple afterwards, okay? I think it's quite clear, no? It looks very difficult? No. It's actually nice because if we start, and in this visualization, we don't need to, you really use a lot of our creativity also. We start our imagination. So we really go into details and have fun, like going there and imagining this and that. And we try to put all the parts and we see the colors and so on. If we have difficulty visualizing, we simply imagine. We don't need necessarily to see it clear in front of us as if we were watching television. No? It's just imagine. So we go to the imagination of every detail. And then slowly, slowly we'll see that the images will appear to our mind. Even though they may not be so clear, slowly, slowly they may appear. And then by doing this, we train our mind to zoom in, zoom out. We train our mind the relation with space. Okay? So as I said before, this is not the actual practice. This is just an exercise to train visualization. But it's a nice exercise. We can do it. Sure, it's not an exercise that you do only once is enough. We need to do a few times. But it's in order to help us to do our own visualizations better. Okay? Other exercises are there also, which are nice also to do. One is we visualize what we call the empty body, which means we meditate on our body as being a body of light. So this helps us before we start visualizing the subtle channels and the drops and so on. We simply sit and after we do breathing meditation, together with the breathing, we visualize that our body is made of light. That inside there is no organs, no skin, no blood, no bone. It's just light. It's completely a body totally full of light. And as we do this meditation, we sit and we stay for some time there and we try not to move also. So we just stay and we relax. And we just observe our body as a body of light. Okay? Simple as that. This is another exercise that can help us also to do the visualizations. Because normally, when we generate ourselves as a deity, we visualize our body, which is a body of light. Okay? So we do this. In the beginning, we can simply visualize our own body, the body that we have right now, but is made out of light. No? I remember just now, when I was starting to do daily practices, it was many years ago. I think I was 8. with my father. My father was very serious. We used to sit together, and he said, okay, now you sit back straight. No, no. And then he would like go, and then he would do the practices. And then there was the part where visualize. We would do preliminary practices in Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa. We would sit and do, I think, almost every day. And then there's the part where you visualize the body of light or something like that. And for me, it was difficult to visualize the body as an actual body of light. It was much more easy to visualize myself as a beam of light. I liked it much more to do that, to imagine that I was just a beam of light. I had no need to visualize hands and face and feet and chest or whatever. It's just like a beam of light. No? And this is also good because if we are able to feel our identity, even in a form that is not normal for us, this is also very positive because it's like showing us that we can actually, we recognize our identity in our more subtle body, in the part of energy. We recognize our identity within our mind more than actually our physical body. So if we start by visualizing our body as a body of light, and if there arises a moment where we feel more comfortable just as imagining ourselves as a beam of light, that's also okay. This is not the actual practice of self-healing, but are exercises that help. So just sit, some breathing meditation, and just visualize yourself, visualize the whole body as a body of light. Then we can visualize ourselves as a beam of light also, if it's more easy. So this is one exercise that is also quite helpful. Okay? And one thing that is also nice to do that actually helps also in other practices, I did quite a lot when I was in the monastery many years ago, which I was doing it as a game actually. I was having fun doing it. But I think it's quite nice, is to sit and to make the commitment, I will not move anything. Okay, so you just sit. When I was doing it, I had like the time because during debate sessions, we had in the monastery 1 month, more or less, with debate without prayers and 1 month with prayers. It was like alternate. So when we had prayers, before debating, everybody gathered together. We sit like in a circle. With like 800 people. We sit together, making like a semicircle, like a circle, each one together. And then we do all the prayers, and then after that we start the debate. And during these prayers, very often there was one prayer, which is the prayer of Dukar, Sitatapatra. And it's like long, it takes at least 45 minutes, and I didn't know it by heart. And you cannot take books, so I just needed to wait there until they finished that prayer. So I used to do this. I used to sit down, and I say, I will not move until they don't finish the prayer. But not move means not even swallow the saliva, not move the eyes, nothing. And it's a very interesting game somehow, because it's not any high spiritual practice. It's just like sit down and say, I will not move. In the beginning, we start having the need to move something. Okay? But then you don't move. Just let it be. It will pass. The more you start moving, the more you will need to feel the need to move. And then you start itching somewhere. The more you start going and really, how do you say, to itch? No, itchy is the feeling. How do you call that? The more you start scratching, the worse it gets. So you just let it be. Then you have some little pain somewhere. No. That's just games of the mind, you know. Just let it be. Slowly, slowly, it will pass. And then as we just stay there, it's not easy in the beginning because we need to do something. We are used always to be doing something. And what I am doing, I'm staying still, and this is not doing, so it's difficult. So it's better if we observe the breath. It helps. And then it's not a meditation that we need to think about something, just try to be still. And then there is a moment where you will feel that you don't feel any more difference between one hand and the other, until there is a moment where the whole body becomes like one piece. And then there is a threshold that when we go over that point, it's pleasurable. Then you don't want to move anymore. Then it's there, and then it's really nice after a certain point. Okay? This is not meditation, okay? This is just playing with the body. We're not doing any high meditation. This is just relaxing in this state, okay? We can do this with meditation also, for sure.
Because in Theravada tradition, this is one of the meditations, I think.
I don't know really. Okay, possible. Yeah. There is a meditation that I know that is observing the sensations and so on. No? When I say it's not meditation, basically it's because we're not, what I'm just saying, we're not explaining anything exercise of the mind mainly, just not moving. Even if you don't care, if your mind is going to the 10 directions and is remembering about the movie, don't care, just don't move. If you're thinking about whatever, it's not a problem. At this point, just don't move. The nice thing of this is because we are just not having any like big commitment, okay, I need to generate bodhicitta or I need to think about this or that. No, I want to think about my job, about my friend, about my object of desire or aversion, whatever. No problem. The mind can do anything, but the body should not move. Okay? It's easier somehow. But then we start to have the experience of staying still. And it's pleasurable. Then slowly, slowly, the mind starts to come down also. Okay? So this is also another exercise that is quite nice, actually. You just sit down. But there will be, normally in the beginning, when we are not used to it, there is a moment where we want to move. And we will find thousands of excuses to do it. And what we do? We don't move. Just stay there. Just relax. Try to relax the body. And the positive thing is that once, it's not something very difficult. I think we all can do it. And after some time, we get a sensation of pleasure. So this will make us more to have the wish to meditate. And will bring us some more stability also. Okay? So these are just some small exercises that can help us for our practice. It's not the actual practice, okay? But better not to do this laying down, because then we fall asleep most probably. It's better if we do with the back straight, sitting in the good position. And then we just observe and try to keep the mind calm, but most of all, don't move the body. That's the main commitment. Okay? Then after, the next step is, okay, then we need to keep the mind relaxed and direct the mind and so on. This is another objective, okay? But these are just some things that we can do in between. Like we do this exercise maybe once a week when we have time, when we like, and then it is actually something quite nice. When I was doing this one day, I used to live in the monastery together with me. There were 4 boys living in the house with me. I used to take care of them. I was not the responsible, but they were living in my house, so I took care of them also. So one day, I arrived and I had a nice piece of chocolate. So I took this chocolate and I said to them, who wants the chocolate? They all came from very, very poor families. Like chocolate was something they saw maybe twice in their life, like they wanted so much the chocolate. So I took the chocolate and said, okay, let's make a small competition. Let's everybody sit down. Let's see who stays still for longer. Who stays still for longer, get the chocolate. So there was one boy was 7. The other one was, I think, 9. One was 13, and the other was 14 or something like that. So they sit down there. I put them, you need to sit like this. I show them the position. You sit like this. I said, any movement you lose, opening the eyes, moving the mouth, moving the body, anything you lose. So they sit down. After a few minutes, okay, the little boy of 7, he started moving, so he lost. Then he stand up, he started jumping in front of the others and doing things like this to try to make them move. And I said, no, come here. And I stopped him. And then I left. And then I was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. 45 minutes passed by, and they were still there. You could see that was a little difficult because there was mosquitoes also. And then they were there and they were not moving. Then finally I said, okay, enough, finish the game, we eat the chocolate altogether, no? But I never expected that it was going to take so long. I thought like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Instead, after 45 minutes, I said, okay, better I stop with this. It's getting boring, no? I don't know how long it's going to take. But the point is that it is like really a quality that we all can do. It's a matter of putting ourselves to do it. And it's also the good thing of this exercise also is because normally for us it's easier to see results in the body than in the mind. Okay. So in the moment that we are able to stay still, that's quite a conquer that we can get. No? So, oh, how nice, look, I can stay for such a long time without moving. That's good. And the sensation of the body is quite special also. Okay? For me, I think I always had the sensation I was falling to the front. Actually, I was not, but there was a little bit this sensation also sometimes. Then after it passed, but it's like observe the sensation in the body and don't follow the tricks of the mind because we are used to movement, no? I think it's a little bit similar. I don't know, one time I was for many days in a boat. When I got down, I got earth sick. Not sea sick. Earth sick. You call earth sick? I think, no, because in Italian you say mal di terra. Because it means that when you stay a long time in a boat, when you go to the sea, you feel like if the earth is moving. Okay? No, you are on the earth. That's what I meant. When you are on the earth, after staying a long time on the boat, when you get on earth, you feel sick.
We say in Dutch, we say sea legs.
Sea legs. So what happened is that I imagine what the reference I do is that normally we are always moving and doing things. And for us, it is strange to stay still. You're not used to it. It's like, so if we start to get used to it, in the beginning, that's why we start itching here and itching there. It's like if I need to do some movement. No? Because so when we overcome that, then we're able really to stay still. Because like, our body also gets used to the way how we are normally. No? That's why you stay many days in the boat, always moving. When you get out on the earth, it looks strange that things are not moving. No? So somehow it's like I believe that also because we are always moving since we wake up, we never stay still really much. If we stay still, it's because we are having some sort of external stimulation. Or I'm watching a movie, or I'm listening to a person, or I'm doing something external. But just to stay still, we're not used to it. No? I think in our lives, I don't know how many times we have ever done it. But it is actually quite a nice experience. But in the beginning it's difficult. I just want to say this, that in the beginning we may feel a little bit like uncomfortable, but basically because we never do it. So if we stay there and we don't worry about it, if we have some little pain, something, of course, a big pain is different, but little things, don't follow. Just let it be. And this is a nice experience. I think it's a nice exercise to do also. Because then after, when we do that, we also develop some sort of trust in ourselves. Oh, I can sit. I can be still. So this is also helping in this way. Okay? The next step with that is to really breathe in the correct way. I sit down and then I concentrate on my breath. We start with normal breathing without any big effort. Then slowly we bring the air down to the belly and we have a more deep breath. Then we exhale longer. And always, one thing which is interesting when we are doing this, try always to breathe in 4 periods. Have the awareness of the 4 periods of breath. Normally we only think about two, inhale and exhale. We need to inhale, keep, exhale, keep. So these 2 moments in between are actually important also. So we inhale, and then when we inhale also, one thing that you can do also, or it's a good training in the beginning, is we bring the air down to the navel, and at the same time we also push the energy from down to up, like the lower muscles, we contract them, and we concentrate the energy on the navel. And then we exhale. Okay? So if we start doing this, and when we exhale, we keep the air. And we will see in the beginning that when we inhale and we keep, and when we exhale and we keep, exhaling and keeping is more difficult than inhaling and keeping, but mostly it's because we are not used to do it, and we start to feel anxious of not having air. But it's not because we need right away. Okay? So slowly, slowly, we start to keep our calm, to relax within this. And then we'll see that we can get our breath to get deeper and deeper. Okay? And also to train ourselves to do this, to send the air down, to concentrate the engine on the navel, to send it up after. We can just do this type of, let's say, game, this type of playing with our breath. Because if we train with this little bit, then afterwards, when we will do other meditations, it will be very useful. Okay? This is just some sort of simple training. Okay? But sometimes when we do something just like a simple training, it's easier than doing some actual deep meditation. No? Even you can just say, okay, I have half an hour, sit in the sofa, still. No? So, I just remember something, it has nothing to do with this, but in Tibet, how they kept children still. They used to have the clothes, and the clothes were, how to say, like a chuba, no? So like with long clothes. So they had a sort of not a real skirt. They had the trousers and some sort of long clothes, which is sort of skirt. So they would put like the clothes on the floor, to put the children sitting on the floor. This is in the schools they used to do. Then they put some sort of sand on the floor and the clothes, and then they have the teacher have one big stamp, and then he put the drawing like this. And then he go out. When he come back, if the drawing is not there anymore, then the children is in trouble, no? That's to keep still. So we, at least for ourselves, we don't need to do this type of things, but learn ourselves, teach ourselves to be still. Just sit there and try to remain, okay? So this is just some few exercise that can help us actually, okay? Another thing also with that is that during the whole practice of self-healing, during any practice that we do, try always to keep the awareness of our breath. And also the visualizations we do, it's easier to do the visualization if the processes of visualization, they follow the rhythm of the breath. Okay? Because the breath is giving the rhythm to the mind. So if we try to breathe quickly and think slowly, it's quite difficult. And the other way around also is very difficult. If you try to breathe slow and think quick, it's very difficult actually. Okay? So it's like the metronome of the mind, who is giving the rhythm to the mind. The breath is giving the rhythm to the mind. That's why when we get anxious and nervous, if you're just able, okay, breathe deeply, the mind gets more calm. Because the breath is giving naturally the rhythm to the mind also. Okay? So if during the practice of self-healing, like as we did today, sometimes I say inhale, exhale, just for us to remember to look at our breath. Okay? So let's say we are doing the practice, and between one part and the other, I finished to generate the symbols before the Buddhas. Observe the breath again. and keep this awareness. Okay? And if we try also to do the game of during the day, the more we can keep awareness of our breath also. I am driving, I am sitting, I am eating, anything we do, then this will help us a lot, not only to have a better quality of life, but also when we do meditation, it will be easier because we get more used to this. Okay? Another small thing that we can do also in daily life that helps after the meditation is, how to say, not to follow everything that our mind wants. Okay? Which means like, I want water. Or better, I don't want water. That's a better example for me. I need to have water. But I don't feel like. That's why I will have water. And then we have another thing, I don't know. We start to see that, well, we complain, okay, no, this is not the right way. To give direction to the mind. And if we try it's not because I want that necessarily I need. When I want something, it's not because I want it that necessarily I need to do it. So we check what is the best for me. Is doing it or not doing it if I want it? If the best is doing, then I do. If the best is not doing, I don't do. Oh, but I want. Who cares? Want is not important. And I was actually thinking, like, even in the monastery, we never almost listen the word want. I want this, I want that. It's not so. In Tibetan, we say the word need, not the word want.
She many times say, do you need? And I'm always, do I need? What do I need? I mean,
Because in Tibetan, you never say, do you want? You always say, do you need?
yeah.
Because the important is what you need, not what you want.
Yeah, but the question is, what is needing? What I really need is so little.
That's why life should be simple. No? The point is that if we start in our daily life just to make the distinction between what I need and what I want, and when I want something, do I need it or I don't need it? Is it good or is it not good? Don't really need, okay, then don't do it. The ability not to follow our desires is actually very useful, because then we are there sitting in meditation. I want to stand up. No. I need this. No, that's not the moment. Wait a minute. Behave. Then we can give direction to ourselves. No? Like, it's important, some small attitudes, if we apply it in our daily life, then afterwards it helps also in our meditation. So, being aware of our breath. Another thing that is very useful also is that during daily life, if we are careful at what we say, only saying what is necessary. Because what happens is that when we start to control our speech, actually we need control our mind. So if we start putting into practice in our daily life, only saying what is really necessary, we will have very often the wish to say something and we say, no need. Okay. It's not easy in the beginning. Because especially in our culture, we have the need to talk. No? But by doing that, we are learning to control the mind. It's not the point of the speech here. Speech is also important, but it's most of all controlling the mind, because the problem in meditation very often is that the mind goes in many directions and we are not able to keep it, because we are not used to control our mind even. So when we start to control our actions, control means to direct, maybe it's a better word, to direct our mind, to direct our speech. Then by directing our speech, we also learn how to direct our mind. So, thinking before saying, choosing what to say. Up to a point where we need to learn to choose what to think. for some reason, very often we do not even believe that we are able to choose what to think. We are just thinking as a result of the interactions that come to us. But we can choose in which direction to put our mind. We can choose what to observe. We can choose what to analyze. We can choose to stop one thought and to start another one. But if we only try to do this in meditation, and between meditations we don't put any effort in that direction, then it really becomes hard. So, just keep this awareness of these small things in our daily life. Okay, this is good, I follow. This is not good, don't need that. No, this thought I don't need. Like, sometimes when a mind comes and is very nasty and is not a good thought, if we try to send it away, it will get even stronger. If we ignore it, it's there, okay. Then slowly, slowly it will get quieter and quieter. It's like, sometimes I see like a person coming and wanting to talk, and the other person don't want to talk. Let's say someone comes to us and wants to talk, and we don't want to talk. And if a person comes and we say, oh no, today is not the moment, I don't need to talk, and then the person is going to start saying so many things. Oh yes, but because of this, you just started. So even if you try to say no, it gets worse. Instead, if the person comes and wants to talk, and it's not the moment to talk, and you don't want to talk, just keep your way. It's like ignoring energetically also. It's there. I'm not going away, but what happens after some time? There is no exchange. So the person stops. It's like, it is similar to another thing also. It's like, if we really don't want to have anything to do with someone, can happen in life, that we have a conflict with a person and we really don't like that person and we don't want to have anything to do with that person, the worst thing that we can do is to get angry with the person and to fight with the person. Because whenever I fight with someone, I get angry with someone, I do something violent to someone, what I am doing, I am creating bond, I'm creating connection. So the best way is ignore. So, okay, this person, it's no benefit for me, I don't need. You do whatever you do, follow your own way. So energetically we cut. And by doing that, slowly, slowly then, there is distance. But this example is just some examples to understand we need to do this with thoughts. So when we have some negative thought come into our mind, and most of the times if we look, many of the thoughts that come to our mind are habits. We have habits of thinking in a way, habits of observing things, habits of commenting about things, and so on. We have the habit of worrying. So when some thoughts come, some feelings, emotions come, and we don't need that. It's not positive, it's not bringing any benefit. Just let it stay there. Okay, you came, okay. But now I'm busy, no time for you. I need to do something else. And then you let it be. Sometimes it will take more space, then you just let it be. Slowly, slowly it will go away. But if we learn how to do this, if we train ourselves in doing these types of things during our daily life, when we are working, when we are watching TV, when we are talking to a friend, when we are reading, any moment, then after in meditation it will be easier. Because these are all attitudes that are necessary in meditation also. Because when I am sitting to meditate, I am visualizing Guru Buddha in front of me and so on, then if any other thoughts come to my mind, but I'm not used to direct my mind, then it becomes really difficult. Okay? So, this is just some small exercises that we can do in our daily life. Okay? So, let me see. No, there's other things, but I think we will see them tomorrow, which is how to practice between sessions, because these things are connected to that also. Okay? But it's just like the exercises for the meditation, which, because we were talking about the hairline, the line on the nose, that's why we enter into these other sorts of exercises that we can do. Okay? One other point, just remembering, related, for example, with this exercise that I just said, when I said, do I need or do I want? And to be able to deal with more of this, for example, related to food. We get to a point, there is something that we like the taste, but we don't need it. We already ate enough. It's not going to be good for our health. Do I want it? Yes. Do I eat it? No. Any problem with it? No. It's fine. And it's okay. It takes 1 second to forget about it. It's finished. It's gone. And actually, the pleasure of directing the mind positively is much higher than eating what we want to eat. It's clear. But like, this is a very small exercise, no? For example, according to Tibetan medicine, we should always eat only, we should divide the stomach into 4 parts. 2 parts we should fill with food, 1 part with water, and 1 part should be empty. So it's much healthier to stop eating when we are still a little bit hungry. Okay, how difficult it is really? Not that difficult. If we try, if we start doing it. First time will be difficult. When we are having our favorite meal, it will be difficult. But even there, no, it's just a matter of making choices and respecting our choices. In other words, it's a matter of respecting the commitments that we make with ourselves. Being coherent, okay, I chose this, that's what I do, finish. Oh, but I would like, I would like, okay, many things I would like. So what? No? Yeah?
What about with raising children? They want also a lot.
Sure.
How can you deal with it?
I think that one way, it's a mistake of education that happens very often, I see. Not only based on the parents, but on the society. But what I see very often is the child does something that is sad because, I don't know, and was playing with another child and they fight and whatever happens and the child is sad because something. And then very often the parents say, okay, no, don't worry, come here, I give you a candy or I give you something. Try to give something in order to forget about the problem, no? And I think that by doing this, what we are doing is like we are creating the habit that when we are not feeling well what we need to do something external. So I need food, I need a toy, I need something external. Instead of, okay, dealing with what I have. First thing I think is very important, both for us and for others, and this includes also children, is coherence. Which means if I say yes, means yes. If I say no, means no. Okay. If I say no and I understood out later I saw that I was wrong, then it can become yes, but with a reason. No? But otherwise, there is coherence. Before answering something, before giving, there is a reason. And it's important also to try to teach to children that the difference between needing and wanting, and what we want is not necessarily what will make us happy, and just possessing things brings no real benefit. No? Like I always remember when I was a kid, one time I asked my father, I think I was 7 or 6, I don't know, and I said, oh, I like to go to the newspaper shop just nearby, and I like to buy one small toy, whatever. I saw it there, I really like it. He said, okay, how much it cost? I told him. So he gave me this exact amount of money. I went there. When I reached there, the thing I wanted was not for sale. Was finished, whatever. So what I said, I buy something else. I am here, I have the money. So remember, I bought a little ball. Nothing special. So I came back home very happy with my ball. And then my father looked at me and said, oh, where is the thing you wanted to buy? Oh, they didn't have, so, and what did you do? So I bought the ball. He was asking, why? why do you need to buy something? If you needed that toy because of a specific reason, it's okay. But it's not just buying for buying. He said it to me in a nice way, but I remember it entered my mind very clearly that time. So it's all slowly, slowly, if we can transmit this. But it's also a matter of example that we give. Actually, we teach much more by example than by talking. Very often you can see parents that are unable to control their own desires and everything. They're always buying everything. Then what the children do the same. This is normal, no? So I think one of the biggest difficulties sometimes of maybe being a parent is that you need to teach by example, not by words. And we give too much importance to the verbal, I said you shouldn't do, but you gave me a different example. No? So this is something that also it's important, okay? But my point mainly is, if we really train ourselves in our daily life to control a little bit our desires, which doesn't mean with suffering. Huh? I'm saying more like in a playful way. It's not like, oh, I don't. Oh, if I really think it's going to be nice, I want, okay, do it. It's not a problem. It's not like, how to say, so there's no sense of sacrifice. There shouldn't be any sense of sacrifice. There is a sense of directing the mind, not being a slave of one's own desires. Otherwise, we really get in a difficult situation. So, we do small things. Because when we are able to do that, then when we sit to meditate, then we put an intention, we put an objective, and then we are able to keep it because we are used to keep our commitments. This is also another thing. When we are used to keep the commitments, then we put an objective and then we stay and we do it. So, it's just to say that the way how we behave in our daily life has a big influence after in the way how we meditate. Okay? So there are small things that we can do in our daily life that can help after also in our meditation. Okay. Now, we have concluded the part which regards the generation, the so-called generation stage. The generation stage is a part of the practice that is mostly focused on visualization, concentration, generating a pure identity, and it has a lot to do with actually developing concentration. So, by doing all the different visualizations, they're very complex and many things that we visualize. We start by visualizing the whole environment around us, then there is Guru Buddha in front of us, then our body, then the lights and nectar that emanates and come back, and so on, okay? There are mainly two things that we develop during the whole practice in these parts. One aspect is developing correct view of reality. The other aspect is developing love and compassion. The correct view of reality, we are training it because the whole practice, the basis of visualizing ourselves as a Buddha and so on is the lack of inherent existence. So we should always try to keep in mind everything appears to me as the deity, appears to me as the whole pure environment and so on, but always empty of inherent existence. Everything is interdependent. We try to keep that in mind. And when we see the emanations of light that go from our heart or from the symbol or the sit syllable and goes to all the sentient beings and come back and benefit them, we are training our mind in compassion and love. Okay? This is one aspect. Another aspect is that we are training concentration. Because normally, as we already said before, we are used to have our attention fully external. It's very difficult for us to have our attention inside. It's even difficult to put our attention in one external thing. Much more difficult to have the attention internal. Okay? So what we are doing in self-healing in the generation stage is that we are learning how to direct our attention internally, but using external forms. So we are using colors, symbols, sounds, Buddhas. There are many things happening. We are quite busy. But even though we are busy, we are directing our mind without having the need of external distractions. Okay? So what we are training, even without knowing, we are training concentration. Okay? And on the other side, another thing that we are also doing during this part is learning how to direct our energy. Because by doing visualizations, actually, we are also directing our mind, and where the mind goes, the body follows, so we are also learning how to direct our energy. Okay? Because one of the main differences between generation stage and completion stage is that generation stage is the moment in which we imagine things, we simulate processes. Completion stage is where we are supposed to do the actual process, not to imagine it anymore. So the three transformations within the completion stage is the actual death with the body. Like really making the winds to absorb into the central channel. It's like really, it's not only I imagine the winds absorbing, the winds actually do absorb. That's when we really practice in the correct way, so-called completion stage or realization stage. The reason why it's called realization is because where we actually really do it also. In one way, the other reason is because it's the part where the actual realization stage is the actual process of reaching enlightenment. Okay. Generation stage is very important. Very often some people say, oh no, but let's go directly to the completion part. But without generating, I cannot finish. So it's important to develop this level of concentration, even because after, in the completion stage, we need to concentrate our mind in more abstract aspects, which is bring the mind inside the central channel, concentrating the male energy, female energies. Everything is happening inside the central channel. No? Later in the completion stage, there is no more symbols and sounds and many images. It's much more simple, but it needs a deeper level of concentration. So as we do all this visualization, it's a way also of getting busy with inside of us. And by this way, we also learn how to direct our mind and how to develop concentration. Okay? So, generation stage in this way, it's important. When we go to the completion stage, there are different ways of dividing the completion stage. And there are many practices of completion stage that we mostly will never find them written in the sadhana. There are practices that we can read in the commentaries, then after we just go there, sit and meditate in silence. Okay? This is another thing. But the way how in our sadhana, how a self-initiation sadhana, because as I said in the beginning, self-healing is a self-initiation sadhana. The completion stage is divided into what we call the 4 initiations. Tomorrow we will talk more about it, but just making an introduction between the two. When we finish the part of completion stage, we have visualized the whole body mandala. And one thing important actually about a body mandala is that body mandala is not just visualizing a Buddha inside our body. That's not necessarily a body mandala. A body mandala is when there is a part of our body, an actual part of our body, or a part of ourself, that actually it appears in the form of the Buddha. Okay? So in this case, what we have in self-healing is our 5 aggregates, which is part of us. It's the 5 aggregates that manifest in the form of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. Okay? Okay. So once we have finished the generation stage, we try to do it with the most concentration as possible, to visualize everything. And some of us may think, oh, but what's the point on visualizing these symbols? I don't understand, and so on. One of the points is learning to concentrate, learning to direct our mind. One way. Another way, why we have lotus, sit syllable, symbol, and Buddha, is because it's showing to us the normal, gradual process of development. Everything that it develops in a gradual way. When a child is born, it's not like instantaneously. When a plant grows, it's not instantaneously. Everything happens in a gradual way. So, the same way we develop our qualities, our energy, also gradually. Okay? Well, the next step is called the completion stage, dzogrim. The completion stage in this sadhana is divided into what are called the 4 initiations. Okay? The 4 initiations or the 4 empowerments, that's a better word actually. Okay? Wang Shi. Wang means power in Tibetan. In power, in the sense of taking something that I possess and giving to someone else if I give an initiation. So initiation is when we receive a transmission. Okay? And here we have what is a practice where we do self-initiation. We receive from Guru Buddha in front of us the initiation without needing the presence of a Lama, someone actually doing the ceremony of the initiation. Okay? As we do this for the self-initiation, it's divided into 4 empowerments, which is the vase empowerment, the secret empowerment, the wisdom empowerment, and the word empowerment. Okay? So we have vase empowerment, secret empowerment, wisdom empowerment, and word empowerment. The first one is divided into 6 parts. The vase empowerment is divided into 6, which are the 5 initiations, the 5 empowerments of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, plus the Vajra Master empowerment, which is the bell empowerment of Amoghasiddhi, the crown empowerment of Ratnasambhava, the water empowerment of Akshobhya, the Vajra empowerment of Amitabha, and the name empowerment of Vairochana. And then after there is the Vajra Master empowerment. Okay? Tomorrow we will see each one of these empowerments. But one thing I'd just like to say today as an introduction to that, which for me is quite important, is that I stayed for quite a long time, and I'm not still 100% satisfied, but better than before, trying to understand what's the meaning of empowerments. These 4 empowerments. Okay, I understood what is the visualization, I understood what I need to recite, I understood all of this, but why? What is actually happening? Because many things that are happening normally when we go to the description, like there is a text by Lama Tsongkhapa, which is called the Guide to the Gradual Path of Tantra, of Mantra is called, the Ngalrim Chemo, the great exposition of the Vajrayana path. There it explains all the initiations, everything in so many details, but it's explaining how we should do it, what is the visualization to do, and so on, how to recite. But my question was mainly, what's the symbology of it? Because there are many visualizations, okay, I got it, but the visualization is somehow, it's not the actual thing. It's like it's something symbolic. What is actually happening? It took me quite some time to understand something. And I like to try to share it. Okay? In self-healing, Rinpoche already made the 4 initiations quite very much in their essence. But basically what happens is the following. Until now, in the practice, we were still working mostly with our gross mind, which is our senses. So we have images, colors, sounds. We are working mostly with the senses. Okay? What I see, I imagine, light going, coming back, and so on. After that, as we go to the 4 empowerments, the objective of the 4 empowerments is to help us to experience a deep sensation, a deep experience of great bliss and emptiness, which means it's the mind of great bliss, which is a non-conceptual state, that realizes the true nature of reality. That's the objective. Okay? in order for us to purify our mind in a deeper level. So during the initiations, we use different, each initiation is a moment in which we use a different condition to generate this mind, from a gross level to a very subtle level. So this is mostly what we are doing during the empowerments. Okay? So the first water empowerment, where we have the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, is where actually we are purifying and meditating on the pure state of the 5 aggregates. The Vajramaster empowerment is when actually, this is something very personal, the explanation, so it could be right or wrong. I shared it with my teachers, and they said it's okay. So I hope it's okay. It's like the first five empowerment is where we purify the 5 aggregates, because we generate the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. The Vajramaster empowerment is where we generate the pure identity, the I am pure. Why? Because I have the 5 aggregates pure, and then come Vajradhara. Vajradhara is the union of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. So I am the union of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, which means I am pure. I am enlightened. So it's like first generating the basis of imputation, and after generating the imputation of the identity. I am a Buddha. Okay? After that, we have the secret empowerment, in which we experience a new sensation of bliss and emptiness through the physical experience, first putting emphasis to the male energy and then to the female energy of our own body. And by experiencing, by letting the energies go inside the central channel and experiences these 2 energies, we enter into a state of bliss. And with this bliss, we realize the true nature of reality. Then after that, what is called the wisdom empowerment is where we concentrate on the union of the 2 energies within our body. And by that, we enter into a still deeper state of consciousness with bliss. It's a deeper state of bliss with which we realize the nature of reality. And this helps us to induce us to an even deeper state of consciousness that is called the clear light, where we realize the true nature of reality, which is called the word initiation. It's called word initiation or word empowerment because it's beyond words. Okay? So basically what we do in the 4 empowerment is to bring our mind from a gross level into a very subtle level in order to purify our mind in a very subtle level. Another thing that we do also there, that we'll see this tomorrow, but is to prepare ourselves for our own death. In the 4 initiations, we are preparing ourselves for death. It's like if we learn how to do well the 4 empowerments, the 4 initiations, it will help us very much after in the moment of our own death. Because we are exactly training to do it in a correct way, to use death for our own benefit, okay? But I will talk about this tomorrow because it's something that takes quite some time and I don't want to hurry up about it now. We have time tomorrow to look at it, okay? So this is just to have a little bit an outline of what we will see tomorrow. So we have the vase empowerment. One very interesting thing, which is just a curiosity, is that many traditions are much more connected than normally we believe. So for example, in the Christian tradition, how is the initiation done? And how is the empowerment done? Water. When we have the baptism, no? The initiation is done with water. Originally in Buddhism, the initiations, they even have what they call a dzimbu, which is like a little place where you go inside and water was poured in your head. That's why it's called the vase empowerment, because the first 6 initiations happen with water. Okay? But instead of having physical water nowadays, or the guru has a little vase where he sprinkles a little bit of water, or we put some water in the hand and we drink the water, or I think many of you have saw this a few times, or we put a vase on the head, or we simply visualize this empowering deities with many vases of nectar pouring in our head. Okay? So it's through the element water that we receive this empowerment. So there is one connection here. Okay. Another thing, if we see, we could make some correlation with the tzok practice, and in the Christian tradition also there is when you have the wine and the, how do you call? The wine and the bread, not the bread, we have the ostia, no? So the bread, so this is like the same thing also. What is the meaning also is body and mind somehow. And similar to that, we have the tzok, where we have the alcohol and the meat. So there are many things that somehow are connected, no? But it's like, it's not because I am Buddhist what I'm about to say, but this is something that I was discussing one time, just curiosity. But I was discussing one time with one uncle of mine, and he's very practitioner Christian, but at the same time he's a researcher, so he does researches on things and like scholar type. And then he was writing a book on some researches that were being done on archaeological level, because it was found the oldest writings that were found in the place where Jesus was born. They were more or less from the time when Jesus was born. It was like oldest writings they found inside like a vase, scrolls, and in many of the scrolls are talking about Buddha. And it's talking about the philosophy of Buddha, and it's Buddha. So at that time it was present. It was 500 years after Buddha passed away. It was in the strongest time of Buddhism in India. Nalanda was there. It's like it was very strong at that time. So I believe very much there is an influence in between. No, so there is a big study also that different scholars are doing about the influence in Jesus' teachings from Buddhism. But this is something that just whoever may be curious can a little bit study about and look at it. But what I want to say is that when you talk about the empowerments, the first empowerment is water. And it's connected in other traditions also, okay? So the water has the symbol of purification. It has the symbol of life, okay? So the same way when we receive the empowerment, we are reborn. So with the water, we purify, and then we are reborn again. So this is a little bit the symbol that we have of the first 6 empowerments, which all of them, they're called the vase empowerment because they happen through water, okay? When we visualize the empowering deities that they have come with these vases full of nectar, and they throw in our head as the deity. Even, actually, if we go into more details, every time that we generate ourselves as the deity, we should receive the empowerment, which means we generate ourselves as the deity, then come the empowerment deities, which are basically the 5 Mudras, Mamaki, Lochana, and so on. And they come with these vases full of nectar that pour in our head. Our body is filled with nectar. We are completely purified. And then we are filled up with nectar, and then the rest of the nectar that remains in our head is transformed into our guru that is sitting there in our head. This is like, normally the guru appears in the form of one of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. Yamantaka, Guya Samaja, Heru, Katara, everywhere this is how it's done. Okay? So, this part of this vase empowerment, there is this connection specifically with water. That's why it's called the vase empowerment. Okay? But anyhow, tomorrow we will see these 4 empowerments. It's just to see the outlines, to understand the structure. We started with preliminaries. So, we have first preparing the place, preparing the altar, making the offerings, creating the environment, preparing the seat, sitting in the right position. Normally before sitting we do 3 prostrations. Then we sit in the right position, back straight and so on. So we prepare the body, prepare the mind, 9 circle breathing. Then we start with the actual preliminaries, refuge, bodhicitta, generation of the motivation, self-generation as the deity, purification of the environment, transformation of the offerings, inviting Guru Buddha in front of us. Then after that, once we invite the wisdom being that become inseparable with the commitment being in front of us, we do the 7 limb prayers, which are prostrations, offerings, regretting of the negative actions, openly admitting our negative actions, rejoicing of the positive actions, requesting the Guru Buddha to remain with us, requesting the teachings, dedication. After we finish this, then we make the mandala offering, requesting the blessings. Then we start with Locho Sampo, which means requesting the blessings of the lineage, practice of Guru Yoga. After that, we have the relative purification, Eyam Ram Lambam, absolute purification, Om Subhava Shuddha Sarvadharma Subhava Shuddhaham, 3 transformations. So transforming death into the Dharmakaya, Bardo into Sambhogakaya, rebirth into Nirmanakaya. After that, we have the generation stage, which is generating the body mandala, lotus, sit syllable, symbol, and Buddhas. Then, at this point of the practice, we finished to develop the whole energy. We build up everything we need to build. Now we need to use it. And that's the part where we'll go with the 5 empowerments of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, Vajra Master Empowerment. Then we have Secret Empowerment, Wisdom Empowerment. Secret Empowerment is Omani Padme Hum. Wisdom Empowerment is Mahasukha. Word Empowerment, Vishwa Shanti. And then after that, we go to the conclusion part, which is generating the deity, generating ourselves as the deity for between sessions. And we do this with the prayer Lama Kunjo Sumla Kyapsuche. Then after that, we have dedications. And then we have how to practice between sessions. Okay? So this is more or less the structure. The important thing is that...
What time do we start? 4 o'clock?
Yeah. No, basically, the important thing is not what time is to start. The important thing is to start. Because once we get used to it, it's like, it doesn't take so long really. We don't even need to do everything with all the details. But in the moment we start, maybe for some time, we just do preliminaries. And the self-healing we just do quickly. You can even do self-healing. Om Guru Buddha Siddhi Hum, 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 Om Guru Buddha Siddhi. Eyam Ram Lam Bam Ho Shuddha Shuddha Soha, Pamlepe Ma Jango, Pamlepe Ma Serpo, Pamlepe Ma Ngompo, Pamlepe Ma Mar, Pamlepe Ma Karp. We can go quickly. If we do self-healing quickly, it takes not even 5 minutes to do. Okay? But the point is that if we do every day, we can put emphasis in one part, and then the rest we do quicker. Then the next day we put emphasis in another part, and then the rest we can do more fast. Okay? But it's important to have in mind the outline. What are the steps? And the meaning of each part. Then everything starts to make sense. And we will see when we finish the practice that it's like a circle. It has a beginning, and then it has an end. And the end, it's ready for the beginning again, in the sense that it's connecting each other. It's not like, one thing very important in all meditation practices, in sadhanas, is never to leave a visualization open somewhere lost. It's always connected. We're always doing something. Not like, oh, you visualize and then you forget the Buddha that you visualized somewhere there. And then you know, or you visualize something of yourself and suddenly there is no coherence between what you are doing before and later. There is a whole, connection between the parts that we should follow. Okay? So now, for today we leave the explanation here. We do now some prayers. We do the Protector Puja and 21 Taras. Okay? Maybe because I just said we do an express version of self-healing, quick version.
Yes.
Just to see, we do the quick version.
Yes.
We do the practice in the same way how we do, like there is a monastery in Tibet called Nyemo Gyatso Monastery. And in Nyemo Gyatso Monastery they do self-healing every day. But there are around 32 monks living there. But when I first taught them self-healing, they were worried because they were not able to do the melodies. You know, Tibetan monks in monasteries, they're not used of doing Om Guru Buddha Siddhi Hum. They're not even able to do it. So, not used. So what happens is like, they do in their own melody, they do in their own way. No? So we will do in that way today. Little bit fast, so you can also see how it's possible to do the whole practice. Okay? But because we have just explained today and yesterday, it's easier for us to remember maybe a little bit of the steps. Okay? So don't worry much about the recitation, because maybe you don't know by heart what the prayers that we're just going to recite, but just try to remember it will be the steps of what we are doing, okay? So we just sit comfortably with our back straight. Our shoulders relaxed. Be aware of our own breath, the awareness of our own breath. So we'll now take refuge, generate the bodhicitta, purify the environment, transform the offerings, request Guru Buddha to come to this place, make the 7 limb prayers, request blessings of the lineage. Namo Gurubhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Gurubhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Gurubhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Tri Ratnaya, Sangye Chodam, Sogye Chonam La, Jansho Bhardo Dani Kyapsu Chi, Dage Jinso Gibe Sonam Gi, Rola Pinchira Sangye Drubrasho, Sangye Chodam, Sogye Chonam La, Jansho Bhardo Dani Kyapsu Chi, Dage Jinso Gibe Sonam Gi, Rola Pinchira Sangye Drubrasho, Sangye Chodam, Sogye Chonam, Jancho Bardo Dani Kyapsu Chi, Dage Jinso Gibe Sonam Gi, Rola Pinchira Sangye Drubrasho, Magyo Semchen Tamche, Dewa Dan Dewe Gyudan Dembra Gyuche, Semchen Tamche Dunge Dan Dung, Tawa Gyuche, Semchen Tamche Dunga Mebe, Dewa Dan Midrewara Gyut, Semchen Tamche Nyeri Chada Nidan Rewe, Tanyola Nebra Gyurche, Semchen Tamche Lusem Gidunga Les, Trayon Lusen Dewa Dan Dembra Gyurche, Semchen Tamche NgalSo Topchin, China Nuchukor, Tanshin Sama Negiroche, Semchen Tamche Dan Zamboli, Shide Tan Tugun Dembra Gyurche. Guru Buddha dissolves into light that absorbs in our forehead. We will now do the practice of self-healing in order to reach enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. Tamche dunya sashida sema la so me bada la te tanyam bendorie rashe jambo negiroche hada mi chebeze ngosum shada yigitru kunsan chetrin lana me namge kangun kyapgiroche omo namo bhagavate bensa sarva pramad tada gada yarhate samya sambu Om Bense Bense Maha Bense Ma Tetsa Bense Maha Vidya Ben Ma Bodhi Chitta Bense Ma Bodhi Mandu Pa Sankara Mana Ben Sarva Karma Avarana Vishodana Bense Soha Kuncho Sungi Demba Dan Sangye Danjan Josempa Tamche Gijinge Laud Sonye Yonso Zobe Ngadan Chimbo Dan Chege Nambra Dajin Samge Mike Topge Deshe Nito Gyurche Malu Semche Kunge Gungurche Dode Punche Mize Jumzel Ona Malu Yanda Gengurupe Chumden Korche Nedir Sheksuso Gosung Gube Gune Chatselo Mosha Yidru Cheba Malubu Tome Nesa Dictun Tamchesha Kebra Gewa Namla korwa madon bardo lekshun drola cheke korlo korwada da shengenan chanchu chembro ngo sa shi pege chushe metod lera blinshe nide gembat sangye shindo mikde uwarge drogu namda shingla cheparashu ye dam guru rana manra kam niryata yami. We now request the blessings of the lineage to the part of Guru Yoga, relative purification, absolute purification, generate ourselves as the deity, and then generate the body mandala. Locho sambo pagyo trashi pa tuche tempe trinle yarngoda pege drolo zampe zebrache pande lame shabla sowade Omo a guru vajradara sumati muni shasane kar Ota vardanye shribar varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Omo a guru buddha siddhi hum Om 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 Guru Buddha Siddhi Hum He Yam Ram Lam Bam Ho Shude Shude Soha Om Soba Wa Shuddha Sarvadar Soba Wa Shuddha. In an instant, the whole universe dissolves into light. From the state of the union of great bliss and emptiness, the universe appears. And I appear first as a beam of light, which then transforms into Vajrasattva. I have a pure body made of light with a central channel, a left and a right channel. Pamle pema jango, pamle pema jango, pamle pema serpo, pamle pema serpo, pamle pema ngompo, pamle pema ngompo, pamle pema marpo, pamle pema marpo. Pamle pema karpo, pamle pema karpo, om ahong tramri, rile natso dorje jangori, tramle norbo serpo tram, honle dorje ngom, ale pema marpo a, omle korlo karpo o. Om korlo nangse dorje, apema che dorje, hong dorje mikyo dorje, chan orbo rinchun dorje, re natso dorje tuyun dorje, lama tuyun dorje ke, om amoga siddhi hong. Lama rinchun dorcheke, om aratna sambhava hum, lama mikyo dorcheke, om akshobhya hum, lama che dorcheke, om amitabha hum, lama nangse dorcheke, Om Aveiro Chana Hom Ranye Kechege Dorje Chanto Kyo Om Mani Peme Hom Om Mani Peme Hom Om Mani Peme Hom Om Mani Om Mani Peme Hom Om Mani Peme Hum, Om Mani Peme Hum, Om Mani Peme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mahasukha 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 Hum. Om Vishwa Shanti 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 Hum. Lama kuncho sumla kyapso chi rangni lase dodre sungne cho. Donga cho sun yercho tada dom. Gecho kundu jishin drotun che. Dorna ditsu namkra gewe tso. Chinye sapa tei nyurtu da. Norbo banzo shambal harkene. Lame lamge rimpa tarchin sho. Nimo dele tsendele. Nime kunyan delekshin. Kuncho sumge jinge lo. Kuncho sumge ngodrubso. Kuncho sumge trashi sho. We do now the long life prayers, and then 21 taras and protector puja. Gyal kun trin le ten da sho nu kar chi me du tsi tri shi ngen ge chi dro dro. Yi shin kor lo tse yi che jin so lo cho sam po pal gyur tashi tu che tempe tri le yar ngoda Pege drolo zampe tsepa Chen pal den lam Lo den kun santup gun sam Chu ge den tempe Ning po she drup ki Tsim pe trin le yarde pe lua La dren tsu tampe Ke chu shab ten sho She shung gyatso Che ku da tsompe tru yi legalte abdo norbu zola wanchor we she niente pon choto shaute sho Porque sim penam dalavti saha karecha Todra Sho So sum give tom barwe si drolo kum mum pa chik che chin Gede lu san pe kardapke se ge che si pe drumer shabten sho gede kunto drewe suma cho pal de masor Gyalmo la sope Trin le nam shi Son kyo yelme Tak tu drozo chi Jambe pa dorje togi Dra shu dra drek pe so so de pe che tsun la Chinam karatil choch me sasum kidro we munse tato ne gyurchi Goro pame kalpe tuni ne lame sonjo drube sarshepa drube chogyuro gyawa samdrupe sume drove gombro sowade minyan timbe kyundere pevele drube ravgi kargyurwa Nyen rasha kuze migiro kelgera chunguro chi Donya nimbo chu Sala manora chamgo ring lodi Tila dame chogi trube ku Tabe dorje kamshin tengyuro chi Chogi yingni le Same binche myoga sunyen bum Tengyuro chi Tada jungene samba rinche wange gyaboto Chochin chire shabe dojwe bardo tengyurochi Nyange gebe kesan jungyurochi Jetsun lame kutse rabtenchi Namkara trinle chochuru gepa Losan tembe drume sasa Trove muse tato ne gyuroch Dorje kanye lamo rabtenchi Namkara trinle chochuru gepa Losan tembe drume sasumgi Trove muse tato ne gyuroch Onje tsu ma pama dro mala cha tse lo Cha tse dro ma nyurma pa mo Chenyi keje lo dandre Chigde sumgo chuge shegi gesra chewa leni chum Chase denge dawa kuntu kangwa gyani tsekpe she Karma tonra tsoba namgi rabdu chewe virabar Chase sermo chune kegi peme chani nambrage Jimba tsindru katupshi wa seba samden choyoni Chase deshin shebe tsu tor taye nambrage wachum Malyo paro chimbate pe gyawe sege shindote Chase tutara hongi ge dedan choda namka kam Chikden dumbo shabki nende lupa mepa guba nu Chase gyaji me la tsamba lungla nakso wancho choma Chumbo rolan trisanam dana 하라니 조 투타라에 신도 잡어름 차세와니 니쇼 Tare tu tare ture som 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 tare tu tare tare tu tare ture svoha korvale drol tare ma tu taraye chigedrol tu re nawanam ledrol drol mayum cha selo Omo sarva bhi pura pura suras avartaya om benza parananka Omo sarva bhi pura pura suras avartaya om benza parananka Omo sarva bhi pura pura suras avartaya om benza parananka Om benza dharmara nita prara Ita sarva buddha ketsa pratsaline prangya paramita nada swabhava benza sattva Om swabhava vishyate dharmate benza siddhi Namo sarva tata gata bayo vishwamuge sarva te kam yugate parana he man kangana kam soha Om amrite humpe Om akaro mukha sarva dharma adye nubena tute Namo sarva tata gata valokite Om sambara Om ruru puru sarva tishta siddha lotsani sarva artha sadhana yesoha Dagi sambe topdani deshin shebe Tanda kanda sambak Teda tamche chiripa Jungyor chi Rani yedal harra sewe dindu mana Simba ye chiro ngamje senge te tenso ninge norbuch Gyachen dorje shudetse kola rajon cheget Ola tansha serdoso chana putri dranyeto Druba pola gebe tsul drodun drage drove nyam leche kachema Korso gyazo korwa gyur dani tuke veserik Ranshi dan tembene karshu podran sus Yeshe panan kechil chenran tamye yerme gyuro Hongo sungube gwene cha tseshin chinan yejo shar Kechan gyacha chemra vesho che ngosha yiru namka kante bul Tanse kanse tense tense Chinan sanwe chense sanchoch Namka kante bugi korche nam tudan kanshin yamcha sogyurchi dacha samchor chacho namba tenson chenbo tudan gegi kun ningne shaso nyurdo chansol maye pushin tsewe che sun omo ahum omo ahum Tini letso charpe lama dan chedu ngodro kunso yidam la dedre dutsi tunga dibugi shene samdo nyurdo lundro tso ne sompa wo kandro tso kun Tude tenson tamchen gyatso la dedre dutsi tunga dibugi shene samdo nyurdo lundro tso kebra jikten lede tenson Todo niño dorche shuden la detre dutse ton. Shene samdo nyurdo lundro kebra jikten lede tenson cho. Todo niño dorche detre dutse. Kebra jikten lede. Todo niño dorche shuden la detre dutse ton. Shene samdo nyurdo lundro tso shige wanda ngocho rabchan. Tome tsoze namgyo ringa la detre dutse tonga debu. Shene samdo nyurdo lundro tso shige wanda ngocho rabchan. Tome tsoze namgyo ringa la detre dutse tonga. Shene samdo nyurdo lundro shige wanda ngocho rabchan. Tome tsoze namgyo ringa la detre dutse tonga. Shene samdo nyurdo lundro tso seto yungo namren gelong ge leke tope taksha chuso shindo chodum kache marpol dedre dutse tonga dibyogi shene samdo nyurdo lundro tso enro samyedan kado lasin toson yongwa Detre dutse tonga dibyogi shene samdo nyurdol. Sheyan drupa yanro samye dan kado lasin toson yongwal. Detre dutse tonga dibyogi shene samdo nyurdol unro. Sheyan drupa yanro samye dan kado lasin toson. Shene samdo nyurdol unro. Detra chechin trinle kowe tu namshe trinle tudru kechin. Yawa mebra pai pushin to tato kyunshin tato che kado drekpe tsogyan de sinche yarda nyembo danze drenzo dagi kandan kacho ledi tada nyurto drubla ma yeshi hacho ke la nine kowa ni lo sangyawe rinlo tashinge pande lame kotse shasi gendun dena shedru pewaradzu dagi ludan rishi midrew Gegen parche malu sewa dan tungen dendo yishin drupa sungyo nyerka namya miye tso kepra ila nambe dendo samba jishin nyurdu drupa le shin trinle nonyo tome gi tutse ngosum tombe tula pap gyunre deshin chepe tula manyen kaya sewe tula nyamchu gome kyonwe tula ba chodem pushin kyonwe tula dorna dine chanchu nimbo bar Lama la sun tukuro NgalSo na ni son cha. Sunkyo trinle namya miyesh. Yinre nyeme de chengyu me kara natsa trebe rupa shiwal. Getse sisum pebra yum chengu tensun orlet sonam nedir she trashi datse nich. Chachan ve sho chemra sando so china samwe chebe trinchen. Geze gyachen korche negyo chi ningne ke la rewe necho midyon parche dule namgyan sedan sanam pacho chanyan londo yonde nyendra pewaradze mame losan ningyo nyembo shedan rube chodo kundo degi zode nawe tsing serden chokun gyabe trinlet jetsun lame kotse rabden chi namkara trinle chochur gebada Nimo dele tsendele nime kunyan dele shin kuncho sumge ngodrutso kuncho sumge trashish Om benza viki vitana som benza viki vitana som benza viki vitana som benza viki vitana som benza vitana Om benza viki vitana ayur siddhi Om benza viki vitana ayur siddhi Om benza vitana ayur Om benza viki vitana punya siddhi Om benza viki vitana punya siddhi Om benza vitana Om benza viki vitana prangya siddhi Om benza vitana prangya siddhi Om benza vitana prangya siddhi Om benza viki vitana vashanguru Om benza vitana vashanguru Om benza vitana vashanguru Om benza vikvetana shatru maraya pe Om benza vikvetana shatru maraya pe Om benza vikvetana shatru maraya pe Om benza vikvetana shatru maraya Om benza vikvetana sarva siddhi pala Om benza vikvetana sarva siddhi pala Om benza vikvetana sarva siddhi pala Om benza vikvetana Om benza vikivitana sarva siddhipal. Om benza vikivitana rakya rakya. 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 Om benza vikivitana kaya waka chita sarva rakya rakya. Tumi chive tsema tongana te mela dorje shukdenko. Sewa tone chida pachum. Topar sho chetsun lame kotse rabtench. Namkara tinle chochur gepada. Losan bedreme sasumge. Drove muse tatu ne gyurch. Kewa kundu yanda lamada. Sada lamge yunde rabtsun. Dorje change kopa nyurto visho. Nimo deletsend Nime kuya lekshin Nintsen taktu delekpe Concho sumki jingilo Concho sumki modrup sol Concho sumki tashisho. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the three jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. Serve tercenceresi rime kempe wampo champeliang duopong malu Jom tse sang wedang kan chen kepe tso gen tsong kapa lo san trakpe shabla asolwa So good night. As we go to sleep, one thing that we can also do is when we go to sleep, depending on the practice that we are doing, if it's Tara or if it's Vajrayana, in this case with self-feeling is Guru Buddha, we visualize that as we lay down, the cushion is the lap of Guru Buddha. Okay? And then we sleep in his lap. This is one of the ways, like normally we do this also, for example, with the practice of Tara and things like this also. So it's just in order so we keep always the connection. And then we can also do the same visualization of everything dissolving into light in our mind and so on, and going into clear light as we fall asleep also. Okay? Good night.